You're exhausted. Maybe you can't even say why, but you feel it. A constant, invisible weight on your shoulders. You think it's your duty to keep everything in balance, make everyone happy, avoid conflict, always be kind, polite, understanding. Since childhood, you were told, be a good person and good things follow. The good guys win. Kindness is repaid. Be honest, humble, fair, and the world will notice. But Machiavelli would tap you on the shoulder and whisper, "That's a comforting myth, taught to keep you obedient and easy to control." Think back. How many times have you stayed silent just to keep the peace? How often did you shrink yourself to avoid disappointing anyone? How many times did someone disrespect or use you, and you still smiled, said, "It's fine," and swallowed the anger? Hear this clearly. The world doesn't reward the nice guy. The world rewards the strategic one. If you're watching this, you've already felt that truth on your own skin. You've bent over backward to be the nice guy, the patient friend, the understanding co-worker. And what did it bring? The harder you try to be liked, the less you're respected. The more you give in, the more people expect. The more you offer, the less you're valued. That's why Machiavelli matters here. He wasn't the villain people paint him to be. He was one of the first to spell out how power really works. He saw what most refuse to admit. Pure morality, divorced from reality, is a trap. Being seen as good isn't the same as being effective, fair, or worthy. So let's drop the filter. You don't need to turn cruel or cold. You need to wake up. Shake off the childish idea that the world is fair and that virtue alone is enough to earn rewards. We're going to face a hard truth. If you keep chasing approval, you'll keep losing respect. To change that, you must stop trying to be the good person and start becoming the strategic one. As long as you're busy trying to please everyone, you remain in their hands, held hostage by your own kindness. If you're tired of feeling used, ignored, tossed aside, then it's time to shift gears. Learn what they never taught you, the Machiavellian rules of control. Ready? Let's begin. Look around. Do you still believe the world truly rewards good people? Who gets the admiration, the leadership roles, the influence? Is it the most generous, compassionate, and fair, or the most strategic, the most assertive, the toughest to manipulate? The answer is harsh. The world runs on utility, not niceness. Machiavelli grasped this centuries ago. The Prince isn't a handbook on how to be malicious. It's a map of how the game is played. One of his hardest truths is this: being good isn't enough. Often, being good is the fastest way to be discarded. You can spend a lifetime loyal, kind, and helpful. You can give your best and expect nothing back. But the moment you're no longer useful, you'll be forgotten, replaced, silenced, without the slightest twinge of guilt from the other side. The world doesn't rate you by your morality. It rates you by results, what you deliver, the influence you wield, the impact you create. Notice how the nice guys keep chasing, always explaining, justifying, begging to be seen. Meanwhile, the ones who set clear boundaries, who can say no, who show exactly where they stand, those people get respect. They don't have to clamor for attention. They already have a voice. Blind kindness is read as weakness. People who never confront, never challenge, never threaten, no one treats them seriously. They're filed away as resources, not as real presences, tools, not individuals. You can wear yourself out trying to keep everyone happy, but if you carry no power and pose no consequence, people won't hesitate to use you. Harsh, yes, yet entirely real. Machiavelli wrote that, if forced to choose, a leader should prefer to be feared rather than loved. He wasn't praising cruelty. He was stating that genuine respect comes from knowing you can act, from proving you can't be stepped on without pushback, from showing you're not a disposable piece in someone else's game. The same rule applies to you. Live only to be pleasant, and you'll keep being labeled easy to replace, not because you lack value, but because the world rarely rewards those who fade into the background. So ask yourself, where does this craving for constant approval actually come from? Behind endless kindness often lies something deeper, an old fear that's been sabotaging you for years. You weren't born desperate to please, you were trained to. From childhood on, acceptance carried a cost. You learned to trade pieces of yourself for a smile, a nod, a good kid label, forced smiles, buried desires, swallowed opinions. Don't do that, it's ugly. Be nice. Don't answer back, you're so polite. Inch by inch, you trimmed yourself to fit the outlines others drew. No one bothered to warn you that living to please is an emotional trap. The more you shrink for approval, the smaller you feel, and the smaller you appear. Respect isn't granted to those who disappear. It's granted to those who stand firm, speak plainly, and let the world adjust around them. If this message resonates, hit subscribe. Your support helps bring more hard truths to light and reminds you that it's time to stop shrinking and start standing. You grew up inside a psychological cage, built with sugary compliments and punishments sold as good manners. You were taught, please others and you'll be loved. Show anger, draw a line, or ask for yourself and you'll be pushed away. So you did what any kid does to survive. You adapted. But that adaptation hardened into submission. Now you can't say no without guilt. You feel responsible for everyone's comfort, even while you're falling apart. You get hurt but swallow it. You feel let down yet forgive too fast. You're worn out from keeping up an image others expect, an image that's not your true self, only the mask that once felt safe. Here's the truth. This isn't kindness. It's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being unloved, fear of being labeled selfish, fear of showing who you really are, someone with wants, anger, boundaries, and a voice. That fear makes you sabotage yourself. You hide behind behaviors society praises, but your soul despises. You call it empathy, but it's fear of conflict. You call it understanding, but it's fear of being left. You call it kindness, but it's fear of not measuring up. This mask costs you dearly. It smothers your authenticity, drains your power, and dents your dignity. Keep it on long enough, and it will fuse to your skin. One day you'll stare into the mirror and have no idea who's looking back. But there is a way home. To find it, we'll turn to someone who mastered image, perception, and strategy like no one else. Machiavelli. Next, we'll see what the prince can teach about shedding the good person mask. So you stop living as a hostage to approval and start earning genuine respect. If you're trying to live as the good person, counting on others to notice your morals, ethics, and integrity, stop now. Over 500 years ago, Machiavelli sounded the alarm. This road may look noble, but it's dangerous. In real life, it isn't the good who win. It's the effective. And to be effective in the game of life, you need strategy. People are rarely moved by your goodness. They're moved by interest, fear, and power. In The Prince, Machiavelli cuts straight through the illusion. Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few feel what you really are. That blows apart the fantasy that simply being genuine, pure, or authentic will earn respect. Reality is harsher. People don't react to your intentions. They react to your appearance, your image, your impact. You might be the most just person alive, yet if you look weak, you'll be treated as weak. You could have the biggest heart, yet without inspiring respect, you'll be overlooked. That's why the prince, meaning anyone who wants control of their life, can't be naive. Appear virtuous when it serves you. Act strategic when it matters. Machiavelli lays out the blueprint. A ruler must know how to use the nature of the animal well, the fox and the lion. The fox, sharp, spotting traps, moving silently. The lion, forceful, radiating strength, making wolves think twice. You're not told to choose one or the other, be both. See who's trying to play you and carry enough power that they hesitate before they try. Want respect? Grasp Machiavelli's idea of virtue, not the virtue preached by moralists, but a blend of courage, intelligence, audacity, and self-command. It's the skill to stay cool when needed, to realize that sometimes looking cruel is the only way to keep order, not out of spite, but out of calculated wisdom. Machiavelli laid it out bluntly. A man who tries to behave like a good man in every situation is bound to be ruined among so many who are not good. You know he's right. You've tried to be good no matter what. And what did it bring? Abuse, silence, injustice. People don't all play by the rules. Keep playing as if they do, and you'll keep losing. This isn't a call to drop your values. It's a call to stop letting them chain you up. Ask yourself how your kindness is being seen and exploited. Machiavelli wasn't cynical, just clear-eyed. He stripped away the romance and wrote The Prince as a survival guide for a world where image is power and weakness parading as virtue is a death sentence. Many believe they face only two options, be nice or be cruel. That's a lie. There's a middle ground, but it starts with one hard step. Quit lying to yourself. A fatal mix-up ruins countless lives. The idea that good equals submissive. That real goodness means staying quiet, forgiving everything, swallowing every slight to keep the peace. That's not kindness. It's naivete. Cowardice in a saint's costume. Real kindness doesn't demand you erase yourself. It demands awareness, knowing when to give and when to guard. Being good is not becoming a cheerful pushover who's always available, always smiling, always sacrificing for people who wouldn't lift a finger for you. That's self-abandonment. It's emotional dependency dressed up as morality. Naivete assumes people will treat you with the heart you show them. Naivete believes the world is fair, that integrity will be honored, that gratitude and reciprocity are guaranteed. Naivete keeps setting itself up for heartbreak, projecting nobility onto others who simply don't have it. Real kindness stands its ground. It can say no, and it can walk away. It understands that not everyone earns your best, and pouring yourself into people who give back nothing is waste, not generosity. You can stay fair, compassionate, true to your values, and still be someone others think twice about. Respect follows the person who sets clear limits, who knows exactly what they will allow and what they will never tolerate. Kindness with backbone isn't submissive, it commands the room. Machiavelli, though harsh to modern ears, never despised virtue. He despised naivete. He saw that in a jungle of predators, kindness without muscle is just fresh meat. So ask yourself, is your kindness shielding you or exposing you? Is it making you stronger or slowly hollowing you out? If your version of being good means swallowing every injustice, living on crumbs and scolding yourself for feeling anger, you're not being good. you're being ruled. Kindness that never sets limits is an open invitation to wolves. Kindness backed by spine is iron wrapped in velvet. There is an antidote. You can keep your heart yet never kneel. You can act from courage, clarity, and emotional intelligence, holding your values while refusing to be anyone's doormat. Reclaim that center, and your self-respect returns. That's where real transformation begins. Many people who finally see their own submission make a risky pivot. They swing from always nice to hard as stone. After years of being taken advantage of, they assume the only escape is to become the opposite: cold, indifferent, calculating. That's the rebound effect. But it's just another snare. Abandoning your caring nature isn't strength. It's self-protection through denial, and denial isn't freedom. It's trauma wearing a mask of power. Real liberation begins when you choose to be whole, when you stop performing for others and start acting for yourself. It isn't about being good or bad. It's about being real, looking in the mirror and saying, I can be kind, but I'll never again be passive. I can be compassionate, but I'll never again be permissive. I can lend a hand, but I will not beg to be seen. How do you drop the too nice act without betraying who you are? 1. Claim your voice. You were trained to believe that complaining, drawing lines, or disagreeing makes you selfish. That's a lie. True selfishness is other people expecting you to stay silent while they talk over you. Speaking up, saying, I don't accept this, isn't rude. It's dignity. 2. Practice the power of no. Few acts are more freeing. No doesn't need to be harsh or shouted. A calm, firm, non-negotiable no carries more force than 1,000 excuses. It says one crucial thing: I have limits. People respect limits. They exploit the lack of them, choose kindness with boundaries, compassion with backbone. That's not cruelty, that's self-respect in action. 3rd, watch closely who gets rattled by your shift. These people are your human thermometer. The moment you stand up for yourself and someone calls you different, selfish, or strange, it isn't because you've suddenly become bad. It's because your submission once served them. Your new stance breaks the silent pact that let them lean on you. Their discomfort is proof you're moving forward. Treat it like a milestone. 4th, stop begging to be understood. Some people won't grasp your transformation, and that's perfectly fine. You owe no loyalty to the image they built of you. Your loyalty belongs to one thing: your own peace, your emotional health, your inner truth. 5th, swap the craving for acceptance with a commitment to authenticity. When you act from your real center, you will upset a few, but you'll attract the respect of those who count. More important, you'll start respecting yourself. That respect is ironclad. No one can strip it from you. Remember, Machiavelli never urged cruelty. He urged realism. The deadliest naivete is believing that simple niceness earns respect. It doesn't. Courage is leaving the pleaser role behind. Strength is showing up as you are, without waiting for permission. Now we arrive at the turning point. Keep sabotaging yourself or finally seize the reins. Ask yourself, do you want to be loved or do you want to be free? Time for brutal honesty. How much longer will you wear the nice guy costume? How many more hours will you drain your energy, silence your voice, and cheapen your dignity to protect an image that isn't even yours, one others handed to you? That isn't virtue. It isn't nobility, it's a prison, a psychological cell padded with fake compliments, where people applaud you for staying harmless, predictable, and no threat at all. Tear down those walls. Decide here and now, keep chasing approval, or claim the freedom to live on your own terms. Respect is waiting on the other side of that choice, if you're brave enough to step through. Let me spell out what most people won't. No one is coming to free you. No one will show up, shake your hand for all those sacrifices, hand you the respect you crave and say, "Now you can relax." As long as you're willing to be used, someone will happily use you. That's not malice, it's math. Reality bows to leverage, not good intentions. You can go on playing society's good person role, calm, patient, always available, forever saying yes. If you do, start bracing for a future filled with frustration, resentment, and invisibility. Or you can wake up, decide, right here, right now, that your kindness is no longer a collar around your neck. Decide to act with intention, presence, and firm boundaries. Choose when and to whom you'll be generous. Stop giving what you never receive. Quit living like a pet begging for approval. The rule is simple. The world respects people who respect themselves. You'll be free only when you stop asking permission to exist. So answer this. When was the last time you said no and felt zero guilt? When did you last put yourself first? When did you do something just for you without replaying how others might react? Tell me below. Drop the moment you realized being nice was actually wrecking you. Your comment could jolt someone else awake. And if this message made you rethink how you live, act, or see yourself, don't stop here. Hit subscribe and move to the next video. The journey is only getting started.